the news breaking on Wednesday morning that Tua Tagovailoa will be benched. Mike McDaniel, after the loss to the Steelers, said all options are on the table at quarterback, and the option now is Quinn Ewers, I guess, for at least this week for the Miami Dolphins. And I'll give you the floor on what you've seen from Tua this year and why you think we're at where we're at right now in South Florida.
Yeah, I mean, these things always are interesting. That obviously they had won 5 of 6 before Monday night, so they had got back to playing decent football. They didn't play well early in the year. Tua wasn't playing well early in the year. So at that point, you kind of go, okay, if you make a move now, it's a little more understandable. Then you go on a run. And then after one loss, you bench the guy. And that's like, okay, how does that make sense? But I think, what we're seeing is that they got knocked out of the playoff picture. And so they get knocked out of the playoff picture. And now you're starting to ask questions about the future. What is the future? Is Tua the future of this franchise? Is he the future for at least next year with the big cap hit? Or do we at this point explore some of the other guys we have on the roster, and specifically the young rookie and Quinn Ewers, to see if maybe he can be that guy? Maybe it makes it easier, but we at least need a sample size to see what we have in this room to decide. Is it Tua? Is it a guy in this room? Is it neither? Do we have to address that moving into the offseason, whether that's in the draft or free agency, if they've got that ability with obviously the cap hit that Tua would take if they decide to cut ties there. So I think that's why this happens now, not necessarily that Tua hadn't played good football the last month and a half, but it's at the point now where we have to start making some decisions for the future.
So why do you think Tua needs to be benched in the eyes of Mike McDaniel, other than what you just said? Hey, we need to see who else we've got. Yeah. He would never do that. Obviously, look to see who else we've got if Tua's play in his mind was significant enough to keep moving forward with him. And as you know, McDaniel might not have his job either. And you've said here, because I listen to you, Kurt, as well as Game Day Morning, which means I have no choice but to listen to you.
For 4 hours.
That McDaniel and his system, Tua's great for it. And obviously the system that McDaniel would bring, Tua, or let's put it this way, the Dolphins want to stick with Tua, this would be the coach to have. So I'll give you the floor on that one, Kurt.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing is, we've seen Tua play at an extremely high level in this offense. But this year, he didn't. And a lot of factors. What you see oftentimes when you watch this Miami offense is that it's kind of feast or famine. Like, there have been games this year where you go, oh, there it is. There's the offense they're trying to run, and it looks almost picture perfect. And Tua is the perfect fit for this offense. But I've been outspoken a lot about how this offense is really tough for a quarterback. And why Tua fits it is because they ask you to fit it into your number one receiver a lot. It's not like we've got this tremendous system that's built where if this guy's covered, then this guy's open, and then this guy's open. Like, it is, we're going to run the football, we're going to play action, and we're going to find small windows for you. Hit those windows. And Tua has been great at hitting those windows more times than not, but it also forces him to have to try to hit those windows more than, and I don't know, I want to say more than Tua would like, but when I watch, more than I would like. Like, my gosh, that is a really tough throw, and he'll make it over and over again, but you're going to miss that throw a number of times. And so when you're asked to play in that tough of a system over and over again, there is going to be obviously some great moments when you can anticipate and throw with accuracy like Tua can. But there's also going to be some of those famine moments where, man, you are off by a little bit and it's 4 picks, or it's incompletions because the timing was just a tick off. And so it's a challenge to play in this offense. I'm really interested to watch Quinn Ewers, and if they try to do the same things, did they build more of this offense around Tua's strengths, or is this their offense and they're going to try to fit somebody else into it? I will be fascinated these next 3 weeks to watch Quinn Ewers if they're going to ask him to play. Sorry about that. You're going to ask him to play the same way that they asked Tua to play. But, Tua has taken a dip this year, that the offense has taken a dip this year. And I think that's why we've gotten to this point where we're asking the question about the future. But make no mistake, this is not an easy offense for any quarterback to just get plugged into. And if you don't have certain skill sets, accuracy and anticipation, this can be a really tough offense to run. So, like I said, I'm fascinated to see the next 3 weeks and see how Quinn Ewers, which is a guy that I saw in college that I didn't necessarily think was that kind of a guy, anticipation, throwing ahead of schedule, hitting the tight windows. I didn't feel like he was that kind of guy in college. So I'll be interested to see how this plays out these next few weeks.
Hey, you made it all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Check us out every single day streaming live on Disney Plus and the ESPN app 12 to 3 Eastern.